Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the Heroes of Rock tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides, the best tournament guides on the market, by going to patreon.com/golfclashtom. You have the link to Patreon and to our guides directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that these are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So again, very important that you play your own way, but at the same time listen to what I say in the video, because even though I suggest one thing in the info box, I definitely try to explain a massive amount of different scenarios to try to give everyone a possibility to follow the shot that I do suggest. So let's go to hole number one. Hole number one, and we're going to go for green here, or at least get the ball close to green, because we do want to take away the water from risk completely. So whenever I do have tailwind on this hole, I always pull out a berserker ball or whatever power 5 ball you wanna use, because you don't have to limit yourself with a power 5 ball, because sorry, not with berserker as a power 5 ball, you can use whatever. Stretch out to max with spins apply, 3 top spin, 2 right spin to have the ball guideline just right of the bunker. Adjust max plus 10, don't push up to max. Very important. The only time you shall push up is that when you play with extra mile 5 or 6, you shall push up 2 yards. But extra mile level 8 or 9, you don't touch your target. You're just gonna go with max overpower, half a ball of curl to the right, and slow needle play. So once you have done that, you're gonna get the ball to fairway, approximately where I'm at now. And now we're going to play EB School, and with 15% elevation. So you stretch out to max to check in terms of where max are compared to where the pin are, and judge thereby. Here I did maybe do a little sloppy adjustment, which is the reason that I do get this ball to drop on the right side of the cup. But in the end, this is such a short wedge that you could definitely drop this one just by playing all by feel. In the end though, this is a must eagle, especially with this wind. There is no excuses at all. And again, the power 5 ball thing is something that we and myself think is super crucial to get ourselves as easy right towards that eagle. For hole number 2, we do have a very good opportunity in my opinion, and we're gonna start with whatever power 5 ball you may have. It doesn't have to be a berserker, that's up to you which one you wanna use. But the reason we use it is to find complete minimum distance. White ring to the left by the rough line, and then we shall apply 0.7 bars of left spin and 4 bars of top spin. The adjustment is simple, and we are playing with medium distance, 15% elevation, power 3 ball numbers, but you know, just ignore that. Played 1 to 1, so 6.4 miles per hour gives us 6.4 rings. And you can see there that after I found my position, I'm changing to a navigator ball, as we obviously don't want to play with a berserker on a par 3. Getting that one to drop hard left, but it does feel that I do have a little bit too much left spin if my intention was to go 0.7 left spin. So be a little bit less heavy on the side spin, then this is most likely gonna be an absolute money for you all. Hole number 3 is going to be super boring, because there is no chance for us here to get an albatross, because it's going to be too tough, and especially when we do play free to play, you know, that albatross is already from start long gone. So I'm playing here the simplest way I do feel we can get ourselves an eagle. And no movement drive, which means don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. 4.5 bar top spin and 2 bars of right spin. We adjust max plus 10. And then we shall apply overpower. And the overpower is important, as we are still going to, you know, as you see, we adjust into overpower. And so to get the correct distance, we do need to use at least some overpower. So for those playing with extra mile 5 or 6, and 7 you use 1.5 ring overpower, and then extra mile 8 and 9 you play with 1 ring of overpower. And why so little? It's because we're using the topspin that we do have to reduce the need of a lot of overpower. And I want us to limit ourselves to 4.5 per topspin to make us being able to play with lower level clubs as well, not just the big boy beast, especially when our focus is only to get an eagle. Second shot, look at this wind. Super tough wind, and here a kingmaker would have been absolutely perfect to reduce the wind even more. This is going to be a tough second shot regardless of where you end up after the drive, but especially if you end up short on your drive and maybe make a mistake or something like that. Adjust with max topspin to a right spin, ball guideline in between the two bunkers, max overpower and outside wall curl to the right, and then that will get your ball close towards the green. Obviously, if you have more topspin than what I have on my Cataclysm, use that. Use as much as you possibly can. The easier this shot is going to be for you. To summarize here, those of you that do have big boy clubs, or those of you that do have the possibility to play with any type of special balls, will have a massive advantage towards those that cannot play with that. But the reason I want to focus with the free to play here is to show you all that it is a possibility to get the eagle even though the wind are so tough. But if you have the possibility to play with a special ball and want to do that and can do that, do that. Because that would obviously simplify this eagle shot even more. And if you're lucky, you might get yourself into a position where you can roll that ball up towards the pin for an albatross. I don't know. But again though, it's gonna be definitely an advantage not being forced to play with a free-to-play ball. Hole number 4 is going to be a tough par 3 to get an hole-in-one on. I would say that this is going to be the hardest one, mainly due to it's going to be hard to find the correct landing position, because we don't really have a max line, we don't have a min line to follow. 2 right spin, 4 backspin, so the spins are simple. Now, my main focus here is the ball guideline. I'm actually just ignoring the ring's position. You can see that I do have kind of half of the blue ring. But what I'm looking for is to have the second bounce to be by the top of the fringe, with the ball guideline, the tip of it, go directly to the wall in between the bright and the dark green square row. Adjustment here now is max plus 15 power 2 ball settings, but I would like us to play max plus 15 power 1 ball settings instead. What happens there is that we do reduce the adjustment with 0.2 rings, which in this case would have made that one to drop. But again though, I'm expecting myself to be close, but I'm not expecting this one to drop all the time due to the toughness of getting the correct initial aim. You can see that I do play with a Titan. The only reason I play with a Titan is for the side spin 2 and the wind 2. You can play with a Katana if you want to, or any other power 2, wind 2, side spin 2 balls. Hole number 5, and I have the pleasure to lend videos from Ben Kennedy for this approach. So we're gonna start with 2 left spin and we're gonna use 0.3 bars of backspin. Now, regardless of what driver you're gonna have here, then you're gonna focus on having the second bounce position approximately directly after the bunker, but also 1 ring from the rough line to the right. Once you found that, and you may have to stretch out, then you release, you adjust max plus 10, and push up the necessary amount of rings to make sure that you don't fall short. And that could differ depending on what driver you have, and that's why the importance of finding that second bounce spot of this drive is crucial. Otherwise you're just going to guess. After you adjust the max plus 10 and pushed up the rings that you needed, you go with half a ball of curl to the left. You can play with basically whatever driver here, as it only requires half a ball of left curl, so the apocalypse is not really necessary. Second shot, we do have our sniper, and here it all obviously depends on what level of sniper you have, on what topspin you're gonna need to use. So here we would like to play with whatever topspin needed, combined with 0.2 bars of a right spin to have the ball guideline approximately 3 green squares short of a pin, aiming towards the left side of the cup. This because the green slightly slopes from left to right. Adjustment here is always going to be max +5 power 3 ball settings from max distance. So always put your club into max distance. After that you apply topspin to make sure to have the ball guideline as displayed on the video. Then you adjust max +5 to get this ball to, in this scenario, get in the hole with a beautiful speed, even though, you know, it takes a little swirly in from the right hand side. Hole number 5 offers the best albatross opportunity there is in the qualifying round, in my opinion, but there is nothing to say that this is going to be easy. For hole number 6, I sat for a long time actually trying to decide what I was gonna do here, because laying up on the second fairway pad, where we're actually ending up to play our first bounce on here, was never really something that I got any consistency with. And my plan here all along was to try to get myself to short iron range, because the wind allows me to bounce on the second pad over to the next one. Unfortunately, playing with lower level drivers such as Extra Mile 6 and 7s, and also Thor's Hammer for that matter, and I didn't really want to go over to just focus on Apocalypse, then I couldn't get enough curve to the right to be able to stay on the fairway. I always rolled into the rough there in the center. So what I decided to do is to play with a rock and play with a power 5 ball. You can play with a power 4 ball as well if you have any of those in stock, and using 2 right spin and as much top spin possible with the rock. And you can play this shot with the rock level 6, 7, 8 or 9. You can see that I position myself with half of the red ring inside the rough, and I use 0.9 ball of curl to the right. Adjustment in the video is max +10 power 5 ball numbers, but I would recommend to play max +5 to prevent us from, if having a bad great right, to go into the rough, which obviously is not something we do want to do. Second shot is going to be with a short iron. Here we're going to have a start of the back fringe check where I'm having +1. In the video I played this one 68% slider, 58% slider, not 68, with 1 backspin and ball guideline to the hole. Make sure that if you play with the thorn level 7 or 6, that the ball guideline becomes short of hole instead, because you don't have a fully developed ball guideline. 10% elevation, and again it says max in the info box, but again it's gonna be slider based. So if we have +1, we should be playing that one complete mid. So 50% slider, 10% elevation, power 5 ball settings. But again, in the video I play 58% slider, which is 0.2 more than what I should be doing. And therefore I come to the conclusion that 50% slider is going to be the number, based on having a start of the back fringe check that is +1. Hole number 6, in my opinion, offers definitely a good opportunity where the drive is everything, in my opinion. Do the drive correct so you get yourself a spot. If you do not make a good drive, you may roll into the rough, and then you have to just place yourself on green for a birdie. For hole number 7, it is important that you start with a power 2 ball, but also with the Grizzly, to find complete minimum distance there with the inner ring by the rough line. Spins are simple. It's a 3 backspin and 3 right spin. And once we are done with that, we are adjusting medium distance with a 15% over adjustment power 3 ball settings. Now, you will see here now that even though I aim very close to the rough, the ball will not bounce that close to the rough. You can see there, as we still have room for a great right and great left. And trust me, I've tested that. So yes, you have room for a great right and great left. And this is going to be a tough par 3 to consistently get a drop on. But due to us being able to use minimum distance line there, will make this one actually a better opportunity than hole number 4, which I didn't expect when I started playing this hole. So sniper, katana ball, pack the Grizzly as well. 3 important things for hole number 7. Hole number 8, another short par 4, and this one is a must eagle, even though we do have a headwind. Here, for those of you that do have good driver, meaning that you do have 6 bars of top spin to be able to use, then you have a massive advantage over your opponents, because If you do have less than that, it's gonna be basically like you're flipping a coin. Like either you're gonna get over the bunker or not. But regardless, you're still going to have to try to get over the bunker, because layup, it's no really alternative here. So we need to try to do what I'm doing here in the video. So talking you through everything here is like, when we do have a club with 6 bars of topspin, which I'm referring to here, use all the 6 bars of topspin and all 3 bars of left spin. You may be wondering then, do I use more topspin if I have the possibility to use more topspin? Yes, use all the topspin that you can use. And now we are looking to have the second bounce, regardless on how much topspin we have, we want the second bounce to be just before the bunker. And that will result you into being in different type of placement with your rings, depending on how much topspin you have and also what driver you have. But again, your only focus should be the second bounce. Then you adjust max plus 15 here for this drive. Then after you have made that adjustment, you need to pay close attention to how many rings in the overpower are you going. So in this scenario, I go 2.5 ring into overpower, and I'm playing 4.5 rings of overpower. So I would recommend in that case to play with whatever rings you adjust into, adding 2 rings, and then adding 2 rings, so 4.5 rings of overpower. Obviously you don't have to be 100% of your rings of overpower, because you will have some margin of errors, but do your best and try to apply that method that I just explained to you. So even though I say this is a must eagle hold, because truly it is, but then at the same time the headwind does not make it easy. So again, follow the method and the structure that I explained to you, and you will have good success on hole 8. Hole number 9 is going to be as equally boring as hole number 3, and we're gonna play the same start here also. No movement, don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. 6 bars of topspin and 1 bar of right spin. Adjust max plus 10, push up to max if you're not in max distance after your adjustment. No curl and max overpower, and even though I hit a double great right with an extra mile 8, I'm still going to be safe. But obviously if you hit a very bad drive like I'm doing here, don't expect any help from the game and expect that ball to go into the rough. But the thing is though, we need to reach as far up possible to give ourselves the safest possible way for an eagle, but also giving us a very slim chance for an albatross. Those of you that do have the possibility to play with more topspin, use as much topspin possible. And those of you that do want to spend a little bit of a better ball, you can do so as well, which will simplify this hole even more for you. I'm choosing to play with a kingmaker just because I'm choosing to play with a titan, but I would like to choose to play with a kingmaker if I would be having more of those. This because I would then have more side spin on the second shot. I would also then be able to play with more wind resistance, which also would help for the second shot. But again, I'm playing this one for a safe eagle, 2 top spin, 2 right spin, and 0.75 ball of curl to the right, and having the ball to bounce on the fairway, far away from the rough to the right and left, and leaving myself up for a short putt to lock in this eagle. Unfortunately, these par 5s with the free-to-play balls is not going to be anything that is that fun. Hole number 5 maybe will be the only one where I do feel that the albatross is actually a very likely possibility. But the other 2, hole 3 and hole 9, yeah, I'm not gonna share when I'm gonna start playing those holes. It's only a way to to progress to the next one. In the end though, hole number 9, we need to do the job and get the eagle and be done with it. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough with the tournament win for Pro Division in the Heroes of Rock tournament. Sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to get the Ultimate Tournament Guide for Pro or for Master or Expert by going to patreon.com/golfclashtom. You have the link to Patreon and our guides directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you and good luck in your Golf Clash game.